Postseason baseball at 94-year-old Jack Coombs Field for the first time. Tickets, obviously, have been hard to come by. The gritty blue is going to get the call today. This is a staff that has a lot of left-handed arms.
Yeah, fastball is going to be 89-92. High miss rate for a fastball at almost 30%. So he gets down the hill. He's got full arm extension, almost 7 feet.
Omaha. Here's Jonathan Hogarth standing in, and we're underway, and he swings at the first pitch. And now Dustin Mercer at the plate, one of the hottest players in the country the last couple of weeks. What a regional in Oxford, 10 for 18 with 6 runs batted in. He was the most outstanding player. That pitch missed in. .351, no homers, 38 runs batted in. He was also the MVP of the Missouri Valley Conference tournament. Went 9 for 18 there with 7 runs batted in. First all-time meeting between Murray State and Duke. 1 ball and 2 strikes to the 2-hole hitter Mercer. And the pitch from Brooks, swung on and missed, struck him out. Great start for Owen Brooks.
Brooks has really taken over this ace of the rotation over the last 6 weeks. Nasty slider, down, out. That funky lefty delivery, man, comes right up on you. Nasty breaking ball.
And now the right-handed hitting Carson Garner. Second team All-Missouri Valley. Veteran from Franklin, Tennessee. He's at third base for the Racers. And he has been at Murray State his entire career. Trying to get something going here in the first inning with 2 outs. Let's pop back out of play, 1-1. Murray State shared the Missouri Valley Conference regular season title with Missouri State and then won the league tournament. Just their 3rd year in the Missouri Valley after many seasons.
Which means he gets righties out at a 186 clips. Lefties are hitting almost 280. So it's going to be imperative for these right-handers for MSU, Murray State, to get the job done today.
Down the line, and it is slicing out of play. You can see they've added a lot of extra seats, especially in the outfield. And a lot of people wanted to see this event. First time in the 94 years of this stadium, Jack Coombs Field, that they're hosting postseason baseball. They've done a lot to this ballpark recently. It's going through a multi-phase facelift. Put in new turf, new dugouts here in the last year. You can see they need the seat expansion. Foul back.
Well, Chris Pollard said before the game when I was talking to him that they were really close to hosting in 2018, had a really good run. And he really felt like that the field was what was one of the aspects that kind of kept them from getting a hosting bid.
Time called. I think a ball got loose in behind home plate. This is a long at bat for Garner. Brooks got the first 2 outs quickly. Pitch number 8, swung on and missed. To start last Saturday, so here he is a week later. Biggest game of his life as Wallace Clark stands in, the senior captain for Duke. And the first pitch is outside. Clark from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Second year at Duke after a couple of seasons at Oklahoma. Freshman of the year in the Big 12 at one point. Terrific numbers. And he fouls it back, a ball and a strike. You think of what he did to lead Duke in the regional last week. 9 hits, couple of homers, drove in 3. I mean, there were several candidates for most outstanding, but it went to Wallace Clark. Here's the 1-1 from Shuddy. That's wrap foul, 1-2.
Wallace Clark's just one of those guys, gritty baseball player, long at bat, spoils good pitches until you finally make a mistake. He is on top.
Shuddy's 1-2 to Clark. And now it's outside 2-2. It's a very physical, very mature lineup. With the veteran leading it off. 106 homers for this team, 12th in the country. They had 7 in the regional last weekend. 2-2, and again, splayed foul. Again, the 2-2 from Shuddy. Man, this is a battle. And this is what a good leadoff hitter will do. Makes the pitcher earn that first out.
Yeah, and this is what Duke does. They're very experienced, a veteran team, lead the nation in walks. So they're up there, they got to spoil some good pitches, and then all of a sudden you make a mistake, you come into their zone, and they're going to do some damage with it.
2-2 inside, and now it's a full count.
It gets frustrating as a pitcher, Clay. It really does. You're up there and you're making good pitch after good pitch, and the guy's just fouling it off, flicking into the stands. So then you try to do something different. Shuddy goes to a changeup, misses down.
Swung out and missed, got him. So Shuddy battles Clark for 8 pitches, but he comes away victorious for the first out.
Like I said, you got to change things up. So a bunch of fastballs, bottom of the zone, misses with a changeup. And there's that overhand curveball, about 75 miles an hour. Late break, a lot of depth to it.
And now the left fielder, Ben Rounds. We saw this guy fly around the bases in the regional final. Scored the game-winning run from first. Ivy League transfer from Harvard, one of 3 in this lineup from the Ivy League. Chris Pollard did a great job picking up guys out of the portal. And Rounds is behind in the count here, 0-2. Struck him out on 3 pitches. Well, Nick Shuddy, not known for overpowering stuff, but has a couple of strikeouts to start the game. And now Ben Miller's coming to the plate. This is what happened to him in the regional. Hit on that top hand. That throwing hand. And now we're going to see how he's able to adjust here this weekend.
He looked good to try to absorb some of the shock from making contact.
Right. 2-strike pitch. Breaking ball lifted into center field. And a lazy fly ball for Jonathan Hogart. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Nick Shuddy. Both starters with 1-2-3 firsts. We head to the second in Durham, no score. New field looks terrific. And the fans here eating it up with a spoon this weekend. Super regional baseball in Durham. They didn't think it was going to happen this year. Here we are.
No, they did not. And they were able to get it together well enough. I mean, the ballpark's beautiful.
This is Dom Decker leading it off for Murray State. The everyday second baseman. He'll start it in the second inning for the Racers. Indiana native. He has reached in 38 straight games. His on-base percentage nipping at .500. Tops in the Missouri Valley Conference. 2-1 pitch. And there is the first base hit given up by Owen Pritch. First base runner of the ball game. And there it is, 39 straight games that Decker has reached. And Murray's off and running here in the second inning.
I can honestly say in what, I'll go almost 50 years of baseball. I have never seen a cleanup hitter with no home runs.
How about
But nice flat plane swing on time. Coach Skirka says that, man, he is always on the barrel. And there you go, great example of it, right up, straight back up the box. Great piece of hitting.
And here's the 5-hole hitter, Luke McStoney. He doesn't have a bunch of homers either, just 3 on the campaign. Transfer from Cal State Fuller. Second team All-Missouri Valley. 344, 50 runs batted in. Swung out and missed. Nothing in 2. You know, with Decker over at first base, obviously a situation where you might expect he would take off, but neither of these teams run a bunch.
No, Decker's got 9 stolen bases, so he is a threat, but it's just not Murray State's game. It's not Duke's game, at least right now.
It's fouled off. Luke McStoney went 9 for 19 with a home run and a team-high 9 runs batted in Oxford. 5 in the Georgia Tech game alone. But he was left off the all-regional team, so go figure. And they're going to throw over to first. I mean, you do something like that, it should be a given.
You would think.
They should drive in a limo to the supers.
Oh, it was a little bit of a panic for Luke this morning. He thought he left his jersey back in Kentucky.
Line drive, base hit. Back-to-back singles for Murray State. 2 on and nobody out for the Racers. Well, we told you they can hit.
Breaking ball down and in, just stays with it. Another flat plane swing, not trying to do damage, just trying to take the ball right back up the middle. That allows you to stay on time, and if you're able to hit the fastball opposite field, you're going to be right on time for that slider. And Brooks is basically a fastball slider guy, very occasional changeup.
First pitch swinging is Will Vierling, the catcher. And he's quickly behind in the count. Vierling, left-handed hitter catcher, first team All-Missouri Valley. Former Louisville Cardinal. That's up and in. Look out.
He didn't even move. He didn't even flinch. I mean, that's disturbing for me as a pitcher. If I go with a fastball right up here and he barely moves, I'm like, all right, he's locked in.
He has been a big lift to this Murray State roster. This could be 2. Well, it's going to be a tag at second as the shift was on, and that kept Murray State out of the double play.
And the downside of the shift, you got nobody to take this toss. Routine, it would have been a routine 4-6-3. Instead, ground ball takes Clark a little bit towards the second base side, and the only thing that he can do, get up there and make the tag. Nice play. But a part of the shift that is against the analytics, I don't like that.
So runners at the corners and 1 out for Dan Tocken, the big veteran left fielder. New York native. Has a team best 72 runs batted in, and he's batting in the 7-hole. Popped up, and it's going to spin out of play.
So you're saying it's not a really conventional lineup?
It's got some length to it, I'll tell you that
does.
much. And look at what it was doing in the regional. 362 as a team. 59 hits in the 4 games. 24 went for extra bases. And they scored 42 runs. Tocken had a couple of homers and drove in 5 runs against Georgia Tech in the regional. And he's going to take that one high.
I mean, both these offenses just make these pitchers work. Good takes. They make you get them out inside the strike zone. And as good as they are hitting, that's hard to do.
Swung on by Tocken, again popped up. And Kyle Johnson, very athletic center fielder, catches it charging in. His throw home is going to be cut off. And the lead run is scored by Dom Decker. Murray State jumps out in front here in the second inning.
Once you get to 2 strikes, man, everything's off the table. You want to get something into the outfield grass. And Talkin does just that, gets that ball deep enough into center field. And Murray State on the board first, and they are 19-3 when scoring first.
Here's the designated hitter, Nico Bermeo. Designated hitting has been a bit of a revolving door for the Racers this year. They wanted Bermeo's right-handed bat in the lineup today against Brooks. We'll probably see right-handed DH the rest of the Supers. So many lefties in this Duke pitching staff. Bermeo transfer from Division III Aurora University. Just his 11th start. 1-0 Murray State. Boy, the community has really been responsive, and Dan Skirka, the head coach of the Racers, just overwhelmed by the support from the Racers fan base, from the alumni. Swung on and missed. 1-2, and they have to be thrilled with this start.
Oh man, this is exactly what they wanted. Overcome the atmosphere. I mean, Ole Miss is about as tough a place to play as there is. And to go in there and do what they did, they were not afraid of the moment.
Popped up. 6'4", 205-pound first baseman. Veteran presence. It's been a solid first year at Duke. Grad transfer from Georgetown. Nick Shuddy's pitch fouled off. Shuddy had a 1-2-3 first inning with a couple of strikeouts.
Yeah, showed real well. I mean, it's for me, it's an Auburn guy. It's a Tim Hudson comp for me. Low, gets down the hill, low drop and drive. Really works that 2-seamer. He'll mix in some 4-seam up, but it's really a nice look. I mean, he'll be 92 most of the game. You wouldn't know if he's at 60 pitches, 3 pitches, or 120. It's just the way he's built and his work ethic.
1-2.
Clay, you feel like we're going to see a lot of long at-bats today?
Well, the way these offensive approaches have looked here the first inning and a half, I would have to agree with that. Again, a 1-2 pitch inside. Counters even to Jake Hyde. Got out to a slow start this year for Duke. First month of the season was hitting under 200, but now close to 300. And another one that's going to get foul and out of play.
Such a slow start that they took him out of the lineup for a weekend, tried to reset everything, and he got back, and it's like my partner Clay said, he has gotten hot, and there's a good look. 314, 7 home runs. Last 25 games.
Lifted, could be playable for Dan Talkin in the corner. He's going to reach up and make the catch. First 4 retired by Nick Shuddy. Well, the NCAA Super Regional coverage continues this weekend across ESPN, ESPN2, ESPNU, and ESPN+. For more information, visit NCAA.com, the home for all 90 NCAA championships. Nice day here in Durham, a little humid. Alongside Greg Olson, I'm Clay Matvick. As Nick Shuddy has set down the first 4 Blue Devils he has faced as Tyler Albright comes to the plate for the first time in the series. That hit him. Well, Duke doesn't need to be taking any more body blows, I should say. We saw what happened to Ben Miller in the regional, but they do appreciate their first base runner, and it's Tyler Albright.
Breaking ball just gets away. Albright gives a little bit, does enough so that the umpire doesn't think that he leaned into it. He pitched at 77 miles an hour. It's not real hard for these guys to get out of the way.
And this is a challenge now for Shuddy, pitching from the stretch for the first time, and the team's stolen base leader is at first base in Tyler Albright. He has 14 stolen bags on the year. As Sam Harris, sophomore DH, comes up. Only had 4 at-bats all of last season, but he's been a critical component of this year's Duke team. Swung on and missed. Ball and a strike.
Yeah, he really struggled with the off-speed pitches last year. There was a lot of swing and miss in his game. Went to the Northwoods League, bought into a different approach hitting. He's really taken out that that factor of the swing and miss and gotten a lot better approach at the plate.
Sam Harris might have the most power of anyone Chris Pollard has had. That includes guys like Griffin Conine and Matt Mervis, both have made the big leagues. Pollard will tell you he's just got light tower power.
His power comes out best when he's working to left center.
Wind is starting to gust a little bit and blowing out. Runner goes. Swung on and missed. Here is the throw down, and it's way late. Great jump. 2-2 to Harris. Fouled off. We told you that Duke, doesn't run a ton. They had not attempted a stolen base in their last 9 games, but they saw an opportunity there for Albright. We talked about his ability to steal bags. That was his 15th, and now he represents the tying run.
That's such an underrated aspect of the game, the focus level that it takes from the pitcher on a good base runner.
2-2. And hit him. Breaking ball gets away from Shuddy. And now 2 on, 1 out. And the catcher making Winslow making his way to the dish.
This is what Coach Skirka said when I was asking, we were talking about Shuddy before the game. I was like, what are you expecting? What are you looking for? And he goes, you know what? He's going to have a really good game if he's able to stay away from the self-inflicted base runners. 2 back-to-back hit by pitches, exactly what Skirka said. He finds a way to self-inflict some damage on himself. And now it's a matter of navigating some of the traffic.
He's hoping for a ground ball now, as making Winslow is up, the sophomore catcher. Coming off a great weekend. Winslow is on that Athens All-Regional team. He's been their everyday catcher all season. Murray took the lead in the top of the inning. Back-to-back hits. A couple batters later, Dan Tocken with an RBI sac fly. 2 strikes on Winslow. Winslow, a local product from about an hour and 45 minutes away in Hertford, North Carolina. And they have come from all over the surrounding area to watch Duke baseball this weekend. Albright and Harris on, and another foul. Again, Duke has made Nick Shuddy earn everything so far, even though it was a 1-2-3 first inning. They saw a lot of pitches, and now they are making him earn it here. 2 on, 1 out.
I did like the 0-2 fastball, staying in attack mode, not trying to waste a pitch.
That's outside. This will be the 20th pitch of the inning for Shuddy. And the 1-2, he's Greg Olson on Clay Matvick. We move to the third inning. Murray State leading 1-0 as Connor Cunningham, freshman shortstop, leads it off. Missouri Valley Conference co-freshman of the year. 254, 6 homers, and 36 runs batted in. Good breaking ball there from Prooks. Owen Prooks gave up a run last inning after a couple of hits right away to start the second. For the most part, limited the damage. Now this one is hit well to right. Coming over to the line is Albright. He'll make the catch.
Prooks was in the closing role for this Duke team, and they just really did not feel like he was getting enough work. They were leaving town, and he'd thrown one inning. He was not factoring any of the games. And so Chris Pollard really felt like, and they made the decision to move him into the rotation. He's one of their best arms, and he has flourished, and this Duke team has flourished once this guy got the Friday night starts for Duke.
Jonathan Hogard now for Murray. Hogard grounded out to Ben Miller at third on the first pitch. And Hogard known to jump on the first pitch. In fact, he had a leadoff home run game 1 of the regional last weekend. He has 6 leadoff homers. He's tied for most in the country. Loves to hit that first pitch too.
But you think about it though, every game the guy starts out with a strike. You know, here's the first pitch fastball. It's kind of like a token. I'm going to take it and you're going to get ahead and we'll start the game. Not with Hogard, no. He's going to ambush first thing that he sees.
Second year in Murray State for Hogard. Transfer from Louisiana Tech. That's down and in, 2-2.
I never really liked guys like that. They would ambush your first pitch because then all of a sudden, okay, I got to do something different. I can't just go with a fastball and try to get ahead. He's not going to let me. So now I got to throw a breaking ball. I got to throw a changeup. I got to do something that's not necessarily in my game.
Hogard hit .400 in Oxford, 3 homers and 6 runs batted in. And his OPS is over 1,100 coming into the weekend. He pitches inside, so now full count. Duke has several capable arms that are well rested in the bullpen, many left-handed, as we talked about. Soft liner to left field, and it's sinking, and it's going to get down for a hit. Not the hardest hit ball that Hogard's ever had, but as Dustin Mercer comes up, he was a strikeout victim of Prooks' in the first inning. Went down swinging. Mercer in his 4th year at Murray State, the transfer from Virginia Tech. He's been in the 2-hole for 3 straight years. Swings through that one. And it's not like Mercer hasn't had home runs in the past. He doesn't have any this year. But he's changed his approach at the plate, concentrating on hitting line drives, hitting for average, getting on base. And it's served him well. Yeah, I'm sure he would like to have a few home runs, but he figures, you know, I'll run into one at some point.
You would think that he would run into one. Like you said, 10 home runs last year. Completely changed his swing in the offseason or in the summer. Flattened it out. Well, that's resulted in a .351 batting average. So whatever he did is working.
Yeah, can't argue with the results.
No, I like the 7 doubles too in Oxford. That's enough damage.
Yeah.
He was funny yesterday. They were running little bunt defense drills, and he was one of the 5 guys in line to do one of the bunts. Got some good bunts down too.
Sure did. This is Jake Berger leading off for Duke here in the 3rd inning, trailing 2-0 now. 8, 9, and 1 due up. Berger, Kyle Johnson, and then back to the top of the order in Wallace Clark. Duke has no hits yet. And a couple of guys on in the 2nd inning against Shuddy. He hit Albright and Harris back-to-back, but Duke wasn't able to bring them home. As the second ended on a 5 unassisted 3 double play. You don't see that very often.
No, but that was as tailor-made as it gets.
Swung on and missed by Berger. And now it's full count. Jake Berger, another grad transfer, was the team captain at Harvard last year. He has started every game at second base for Duke. Infield played to the right, and the pitch is high and outside. Walked it. So like you said, Greg, the biggest thing for Nick Schutte is don't hurt himself. And, well, we've seen him do that a few times here so far in the first 2 innings.
Yeah, and you know, I'm a pitch sequence guy. So, okay, 3-1. It's time to challenge him. Leadoff guy, 8-hole. Throws a fastball, swing and miss. And then I don't understand going to a breaking ball right there that he has not thrown for a strike yet today.
First walk for Duke this weekend. That's their 393rd of the season, which leads the country. So Berger is on for Kyle Johnson. Tremendous athlete out of Leesburg, Virginia. He's in center field today, the two-way star. Has been the Saturday starter most of the season, getting the start in center because of the suspension to A.J. Gracia, who will be back tomorrow for Duke. Just a 1-game suspension.
Well, if you're thinking it might be a good spot to bunt, that's neither one of these teams' game. 14 sack bunts for Duke, 7 for Murray State.
Johnson was Duke's first two-way freshman All-American last year. First since Marcus Stroman 15 years ago.
Not bad company.
No. Big leaguer. It's outside. So now here's Schutte dealing with command issues. He's hit a couple. He walked Berger to start the inning. 3-1 count to Kyle Johnson, the 9-hole hitter, with Wallace Clark in the on-deck circle. Oh, this is hammered to center. Hogart going back. He's looking up. He'll watch it go. Goodbye home run. 2-run shot for Kyle Johnson. And Duke has tied it up at 2. Fourth home run of the year for Johnson.
Johnson in the lineup just because Gracia is out. What a plug-and-play athlete you got. And I mean,
admiration. And so now Duke has some momentum as Wallace Clark pops it up on the infield. The shortstop calling everybody off. The ball drifted on him. And Cunningham puts it away. So there's the helmet now, the construction helmet that Duke wears after home runs. You know, they have this blue collar sentiment going around this program, and that's a nod to Chris Pollard's dad, who used to get up at 4:45 for work every morning, and he did that for 33 years. He said, if I ever lead a baseball program, I'm going to be a blue collar head coach. I want blue collar players. So that's kind of the mantra, and it really works for this Duke bunch.
Well, I mean, you got all these old guys, grad transfers, guys that have been around college baseball for a long time, and they understand the game is hard, and you got to work at it hours.
Ben Rounds wraps it to second for their second out. We're going to talk to Chris Pollard coming up just a little bit. 7th NCAA tournament appearance since taking over as head coach at Duke. Prior to Pollard's revival of this program, they had a 55-year stretch without an NCAA tournament appearance. What a job he has done.
I mean, these guys are almost getting to be regulars in the postseason. Last 8 years has just been rock solid, and it's all due to that man, Chris Pollard.
So the first hit against Nick Schutte is a loud one. 2-run homer by Kyle Johnson here in the 3rd inning to tie the game. Shift is on against Ben Miller here as they load up the left side. Miller flew out to center his first time up. Again, still dealing with that hand injury that kept him out of the regional final.
I got to believe he's still got some echoes in his head on a fastball. Once it gets run in, it's going to bring back a little flashback.
Is that something as a pitcher you would use to your advantage?
Yes, it would be. I'm not going in there with the intention of trying to hit him, but I am trying to move his feet and make him uncomfortable. He's a great player. And you can see Schutte is just working away on everything.
And Ben Miller might have the best mustache in college baseball right now. The mustachioed hometown hero, Ben Miller. Obviously his hand doesn't hurt too much to put on the mustache wax before the game. As that one's fouled back, and now the count is full.
You can see every swing his hand is coming off. His right hand is coming off the bat. I'm sure it's trying to limit damage, but it's not helping his swing. The mustache is probably the best one in college baseball. You can still do that left-handed, Clay.
With one hand?
You're just twisting.
3-2, lined, but right at the...
He's got right now. We need him to go out and give us a shutdown inning.
Real quick, Coach, speak to this atmosphere here in Durham, which they've been waiting a long time for.
Yeah, it's awesome. That's awesome. Our players, these guys deserve it. The program deserves it, and really exciting to see this in Durham.
All right, Coach, appreciate your time.
You bet.
Thanks
Coach.
Guys.
There's Chris Pollard, head coach of the Duke Blue Devils, winningest coach in Duke history, and hosting a super regional after winning regional last weekend as a 2 seed. Swung out and missed, and Will Vierling having trouble with the off speed of Prooks as well.
That's what you're going to get. I mean, it's a lot of sliders. It's a tough matchup for a left-handed hitter.
Now liner, and that's over the glove of Clark into left center field. Hit number 4.
Man, this is just a nice piece of hitting. 2 strikes. He is able to stay on the fastball on time. It's a fastball at the belt. I really was waiting for another Prooks slider down in the dirt and another wipeout. Really surprised at Vierling, and just a great piece of hitting.
So a man on for Dan Tocken. Tocken, the RBI sac fly to center. That scored Dom Decker to get the scoring started for Murray. Breaking ball. Looped into left. This is going to be a tough play, and the left fielder Rounds avoids a collision with Ben Miller and makes the catch for the out.
I don't think the intention from Prooks was to get this slider up and in, but it worked out perfectly. Long run for Rounds. He has priority over the shortstop, Wallace Clark. Nice job of communication.
So Tocken is retired for the first out. And that brings up Nico Bermeo again. Bermeo is 0 for 1, flew out to right. You know, you wouldn't know that Murray State at times this year has struggled against lefties the way they have swung it here today. And 262 is not an awful average as a team against left-handed pitching, but when you compare it to what they were doing coming into the Super Regionals against right-handers, it's quite a contrast. 323 against righties, 262 against left-handers. Swung out and missed. And Bermeo is a quick out. As Prooks now, after giving up the leadoff single to Vierling, it's Tocken and Bermeo easily.
This is a slider that Coach Pollard said you need to get down a little bit lower. That's absolutely perfect. Gets a big second out, but what you were talking about, you know, that goes to how good these left-handed guys are against right-handed hitting. And then just the tough lefty-lefty matchup that Brooks brings to this equation. I mean, I'm thoroughly impressed. This offense is right on time and putting together good at bats, right or left-handed.
2-0 to Cunningham, the 9-hole hitter. Lined out to right his first time up. Not your prototypical freshman, Connor Cunningham. High baseball IQ. His dad, Justin, is a Division III head coach at Lyon College in Arkansas. And you know, coaches' kids tend to just grasp the game differently.
Yes, they do. They grow up around it. Well, you're seeing it with little Skirka. You know, you're on the baseball field all the time. You're around baseball players all the time. You pick up the nuances, and Cunningham is one of those guys.
And looks at a strike there. Full count again.
It just grew up around the game. You just understand it. Your dad, you know, you go home and you play Little League, and you and your dad sit at the dinner table, and that's all you're talking about. And I ought to know. My dad was a high school coach.
Full count, wrap foul.
But Coach Pollard said that both Cunningham and Decker, or the middle infield guys, were both dads or high school coaches, and he's like, it's just fun to watch those guys interact.
Inside, hit him. Hits the 9-hole hitter Cunningham. After working a 3-2 count to him, fifth full count that he's had here today. And so Brooks will now face the top of the order again, and Jonathan Hogart with 2 on.
That would be 18 pitches, 18 hitters that have been hit by Brooks.
Brooks had that easy 1-2-3 first inning, but the innings since have been more of a challenge for sure. So 2 on, 2 outs, and here's Hogart. A single in 2 trips. And came around to score on the RBI single by Dom Decker. Game tied at 2 here in the 4th inning, and time is called. As Brady Kirkpatrick, the pitching coach for the Blue Devils, is going to make a trip out to the mound. 83 pitches in 3 2/3. Pitching coach trying to go out there and reset Brooks. What was the message?
I'm sure it was just a little bit of a mechanical thing that Brooks has got going on. You know, things have gotten a little bit erratic.
Gets a ground ball, and it is going to be foul. That is called foul by the home plate umpire, Brian Miller. Murray State running the bases, but home plate umpire Brian Miller. 1-1. And now 1-2. At first glance, I thought that Brooks was trying to make sure that that stayed foul once it went into foul ground. But I think you're right. I think he was trying to keep that in fair territory and get the out, but that was going to be a tough play.
Yeah, no, I was watching it, and as a former pitcher, I'm thinking the same thing. Man, that's an easy out if you can get there.
And now another one fouled. Just so, outside of third. Activity in that Duke bullpen. Mark Hindy, one of the many left-handers, already appears to be ready. William and Mary transfer, one of the many transfers as well for Duke. Has played a critical role out of that pen this year.
Duke here, North Carolina.
4, 5, and 6 for Duke in this 2-2 game. Jake Hyde, Tyler Albright, and Sam Harris. Hyde flew out to left. He is 0 for 1. Jake Hyde was 2-time All-Big East at Georgetown. He's a Connecticut native. And has been a really solid presence in this lineup in the middle of the order, and has been terrific at first base. And here's Nick Schutte pitching from behind again. 3 balls and no strikes to the leadoff man in the inning. Ball 4, walked him. Second straight inning that Nick Schutte has walked the leadoff man. And you can see the look on Dan Skirka's face. That kind of says it all. There's his son Keegan with the sunglasses on the hat there. He's 9 years old and he looks concerned too. That's little Skirk.
He's been active. They've had a tough time putting a camera on him.
I would be too. My dad's coaching in the biggest game of his life and school's out. And
I want to be in the dugout.
Yeah.
That's it. I want to be in the dugout. Like, I cannot believe you're making me sit in these seats.
Tyler Albright was hit by a pitch. And that one's inside. Checked his swing. Did he go? Yes. First base umpire Greg Harmon said he did go on the appeal. Remember now, last time that Schutte walked the leadoff man was last inning, and then the next guy hit a 2-run homer. That was Kyle Johnson. Albright has 10 homers on the year. Takes a strike here. It's 1-2.
Dealt with a lot of leg injuries last year, lost his job. Went to the Appalachian League, was an all-star, really turned everything around in his summer of baseball.
Tyler Albright, might remember, had a great postseason a couple of years ago. Was on the Conway All-Regional team. Also had a 3-hit game in the Supers at Virginia. Like you said, last year, injury-plagued sophomore campaign. 2-2 to Albright. Ground ball to short. The flip to second. Decker's turn, and not in time. A lot of good fielding teams in the Missouri Valley, but Murray State had the best fielding percentage in the MVC, .978. Nearly turned that double play. Already turned one today. One out, man on for Sam Harris.
And that was something that Coach Skirka really pointed out in our conversation with him yesterday was, all right, hey, if we want to take this next step, our defense is a weakness. And they really worked hard in the fall and early spring on shoring up the defense. And like my partner said, .978 fielding percentage, 27th nationally, best in the MVC.
Nick Schutte was first team All-Missouri Valley. He's won 6 of his last 8 starts. He's been battling himself at times here so far. With walks and hit by pitch. The 0-1 to Harris. Swung out and missed, 0-2. Again, he doesn't overpower hitters.
No, I mean, you look at that one, the 88, it's a little bit of a two-seam horizontal movement, you know, takes it off the barrel of the bat. Trying to see what home plate umpire Brian Miller and Chris Pollard were talking about. But he does enough. I mean, he just a little change of speeds, 89, 90, 87, you know, just moves it around a little bit. Good sink action.
Albright at first, the 0-2. Flailing away there is Harris. And Schutte got him for the second out.
We have not seen that pitch very much. Change up, bottom of the zone. Really gets inside of it, almost like a screwball action. It's been a big pitch for him this year, 43% swing and miss rate.
Nick Schutte, a transfer from Motlow Community College in Tennessee. On a big stage here in Durham today, has 2 outs. As Winslow's at the plate. Winslow grounded into that inning-ending double play in the second. It's up and in to Macon Winslow. Winslow, second cousin to Trot Nixon, who was born right here in Durham. There you go.
I did not know that.
Well, now you do.
Thank you. You're full of useful nuggets. That's why it's just nice to work with you, Clay. You just,
full of nuggets.
Yep, full of nuggets.
2-0.
All right, last two pitches, things have gotten a little loose, and that's, for a two-seam guy, that's kind of the missing spot, is when the front hip or the front shoulder starts leaking open a little bit, you miss up and into righties.
It's outside. 3-0. Nick Schutte walked the leadoff man, Jake Hyde. He was able to get a ground ball force out and struck out Harris, now trying to get out of this fourth inning unscathed in a 2-2 game. And he walked another one. Now that's the third walk allowed by Schutte, plus he has hit 2. With that said, he's battling.
He is battling. I'd like to see somebody come out here and talk to him. He's flying open. It's really obvious to me sitting up here. All the arm side misses, and then the next move is if you try to take a little something off of it, you end up pulling it glove side. So it gets way wide like pitch number 3 was in the left-handed batter's box. Get out of here.
First pitch here to Jake Berger is down and in. So there's the actual bullpen. It's in foul ground down the right field line for Murray State. So the activity we saw, that was stretching activity for a reliever or two. Can't stretch on the field, so they can only take their warm-ups in the bullpen.
And there's no place to sit out in the next to the mound, so it's an unusual setup, having been in a bullpen or two in my life.
It's a 94-year-old stadium. What do you expect?
I mean, I love it though. It's great. It's old school.
It is.
And Schutte is just struggling with it. He has not gotten it fixed yet. Still big misses.
I think that's what gives this place character. 3-0 to Berger, and another big miss, walked him. Bases loaded for Duke with 2 outs. And here comes Kyle Johnson, who did this his last time up.
Got behind in the count to Johnson on a 3-1 fastball. This thing is taken over the TV tower. And don't think that Schutte is not well aware of that situation, is now standing at home plate. And he's going, man, I cannot find the zone. There's nothing I can do. I've missed with a breaking ball. I've missed with change-ups. And I cannot land a fastball. So he's got to find a way to get ahead with something other than a fastball.
That home run for Kyle Johnson, his 4th of the year, but his first in months, going back to February.
I mean, this was a guy who's, you said, two-way player. You know, got a lot of time on the field last year as well as on the mound.
There's a strike finally after 9 straight out of the zone. Nick Schutte trying to bear down that pitch inside. 2-1. Tyler Albright at third. Making Winslow at second base. Jake Berger just walked. He's at first. Base is full of Blue Devils. And a strike on the outside corner. Kyle Johnson shaking his head, doesn't like the call.
Have you ever heard of a makeup call, Clay?
A few times.
Yeah, so I think that slider right before that was a strike. And this is what they do. I mean, that's what they used to do, would be a makeup call and like, okay, I got to fix the damage.
Breaking ball inside, just missed the inside corner. Now Nick Schutte not happy with the call.
Now we're like 3 makeups deep right now. I don't even know where we're at. Yeah.
Here comes the crowd to its feet. Bases loaded, 2 outs. 3-2 to Kyle Johnson, 2-2 game. Hammer, left center, deep, carrying, bounces over the fence, and Duke is going to take the lead. And now time call. And there's a good chance again that we'll see Kyle Johnson tomorrow. He's been their #2 starter for several weeks.
long as he doesn't get his legs too tired from legging out these home runs and doubles.
Wallace Clark now trying to add to the lead. Wallace Clark was on that Oklahoma team that was a national runner-up in 2022. As you look at the Murray State bullpen, Dylan Sentko, left-hander, getting loose. And this one's going to get to the backstop. Glove comes off of Vierling. Play at the plate. Not in time. And out 2-1 to Clark. Way outside. And Shuddy is at the end of his rope.
And it's just as simple as just his front hips flying open, and he doesn't know it. He's not aware of it. He's just sitting out there fighting against this mechanical issue that he's got going on.
And lost him. Fourth walk of the inning for Shuddy. And the inning carries on.
The frustration is that he's going, there's nothing I can throw for a strike.
You see the walks. This is Duke's specialty. You're just playing into the Blue Devils' hands right now. If you're Nick Shuddy, 5 walks today. And the bullpen has Zenko getting close to being ready. This will be pitch number 32 of the inning for Nick Shuddy. And Rounds fouls it off. Ben Rounds 0 for 2, struck out in the first inning and grounded out to second in the third. Nick Shuddy pitched on Monday, pitched twice last weekend. 119 on Saturday, the number of pitches. As this one is lifted to center, it's going to stay in the ballpark for Hogard. And the inning is finally over, but Nick Shuddy on a short week of rest.
But over the last time with Chris Pollard, this is pretty good.
Coach K was 14 years old. You mentioned it at the top of the broadcast. Roger Maris broke Babe Ruth's single-season home run record that year. That was the biggest sports news. But it's been a long dry spell between that 61 season and now.
Been so close lately, though, under Pollard. You know, they've gotten to the supers, just have not gotten that one win, that one big hit.
Carson Garner at the plate, breaking ball, lash foul, 2-2. Garner walked his last time up, struck out in the first inning. So the 4th Super Regional in the last 7 seasons, but the first at home and in brand new dugouts, might add. This place looks great, and they're still improving Jack Coombs Field. Got big plans for this place. Swung on and missed, got him. 2 outs. As Owen Brooks seems to be invigorated since his offense has picked him up.
Well, I mean, it's a big lift, and you give up the first 2 runs of the game. Kyle Johnson answers with a home run, and then all of a sudden you throw up that shutout inning that Chris Pollard was talking about. Said we need a shutout inning. Proksch navigates a little bit of traffic, but gets that shutdown inning. 3 more runs across, and now he's out there going, I am getting this win. And you can see the adrenaline rush. Take a deep breath, relax, get back into your groove.
4 2/3 for Proksch. 6 strikeouts now as this one's down the line and foul. Off the bat of Don Decker, who has 2 hits, including a run batted in. But Proksch went 6 innings, 3 hits, a couple of home runs were allowed, but struck out 8 in his appearance. That win over Oklahoma State in the regional opener really set the tone for the rest of the weekend for Duke, and that's what he's trying to do here today in the Super Regional round. This one is hit well into right field, and that's going to be a 2-out base hit for Dom Decker. Boy, Dom Decker, a tough out today. 3 base hits. And he's on here in the 5th.
All 3 on a slider. 2 of them were straight up to center field. This one, he gets the bat head out there. Buggy hooks it to right field. I mean, this dude has just been on a tear. We talked about the no home runs on the season, but nice flat swing. He's in the zone for a long time. That gives him a chance to hit breaking balls and fastballs.
So 2-out base runner for Luke Mistoni. Mistoni has 1 of the 6 hits. Decker has 3 of the hits. And this one is lifted to right center field. Johnson coming over, but Albright is going to be there to make the catch for the 3rd out. So Decker is stranded. This one is smashed to center, but Hogarth's not going to have to move much to make the catch. So Ben Miller has hit a couple of balls hard. The last time up, lined out to Cunningham at short. And again, he's dealing with that hand injury. But by the way we're seeing him put swings on balls today, he's handling the pain okay.
Yeah, I don't have an exit velocity in front of me. That ball was stung. His line out to shortstop in the 3rd inning was also stung. So doesn't look like it's having much of an effect on him right now.
Ben Miller
got some bad luck with those 0 for 2 blisters.
Yeah. It was going to take a lot to keep him out of the game today, no doubt. As Jake Hyde is at the plate, he's 0 for 1. Ben Miller, transfer from Penn. He was North Carolina's 4A Player of the Year his senior year at Jordan High School down the road. As this one is skied to right. Mercer Cam center it. He'll make the catch for the 2nd out. And if there's going to be a super regional game played in his hometown, you think he's sitting this one out?
Oh, no. Yeah.
Ben Miller's here for...
That hand's going to have to be in a cast.
Oh, for sure. So 2 outs. And now Tyler Albright, the junior right fielder for Duke. 0 for 1. He's also hit by a pitch. And Zenko gets a first pitch strike on a foul. So here's another guy that has to be just tickled that Duke is hosting a super regional. Tyler Albright. He's from a big Duke family. As he's going to walk over and talk to Eric Tyler, the first base coach. His dad, Stuart, played football here at Duke in the late 80s. His uncle Eric was on the Duke baseball team. And his grandfather played basketball here at Duke. So I mean that's quite a roster of family connections to this university. And he's a North Carolina native. Must be just a thrill for him, and you know he has family and friends here today.
Yeah, I mean, just quite an athletic family and pretty impressive list. I was going through his bio doing the same thing as you were. Uncle played for the Redskins, Buffalo Bills, was a all-pro football player.
2 outs. Zenko's pitch to Albright is fouled back. 0-2. Dylan Zenko doing what coaches want to see from a reliever coming into a situation where Murray State has lost the momentum. He's coming in. He's filling up the strike zone.
Yeah, and they need to get a couple zeros up on the board, let their offense get back at it. But it's been a rough couple of innings. And Zenko, like you said, doing what you want a guy coming out of the bullpen do, pounding the zone with multiple pitches. I don't know where that slider was.
Zenko, a JUCO transfer from Olney Central in Illinois. One-two, and again lifted out of play. Zenko is from Brazil, not the country, the town in Indiana.
Thank you.
You think you can find that on a map?
No.
Not sure I can either. Glad you found Raleigh so you could get to the ball game. You had to fly in here. And Zenko thought he had strike 3. Another pitch that he felt he was squeezed on. And so it's 2-2.
All right, so this is what my favorite thing to do is I watch the catcher. Watch his reaction. He knows that he pulled that one and brought that one back a little bit. Nobody else sees it. But Vierling is the one that really knows if it was a strike. And so if he frames it up and holds it and starts walking off, he thought it was a strike, but he just grabbed it and started throwing it back like, yeah, you know what? I'm sorry that you saw me frame it up
that was
and you
the
thought
dead
it was
giveaway.
a strike. Yeah.
Yep, dead giveaway.
So I'm always watching the catcher. He'll look into the dugout, and if the coaches start barking, the catcher's complaining.
And another one that wasn't a strike. Zenko again muttering to himself as he walks off the back of the mound.
Breaking ball, and you can see it's just off the plate. What you see as a pitcher is you see the last foot. You don't see it get framed. You see where it ends up.
Another 3-2 fouled off.
And I can't tell you how many times I yelled at umpires, and my catcher's going, no, dude, that was a ball. And because that's what you see. You see where it gets framed up to. You don't see where it actually lands. And so there are times where you get frustrated, and your catcher's actually doing a great job of framing it up.
3-2, hammered to the corner, and left has a chance off the top of the wall. Tyler Albright, what an at-bat. Dives into second base with a 2-out double. 9-pitch at bat. And then Albright rewarded, got the pitch.
Just missing that outside corner.
Good speed at second base now for Duke, leading 5-2. And Sam Harris, the DH, swings at the first pitch. And that's cut back over the fence here. Harris was hit by a pitch in the second and struck out in the fourth. A lot of power out of this bat. 9 homers, 42 runs batted in. Off speed from Zenko, and it's another foul. 2 strikes. Now the team ERA in the regional for Murray State was 11. Worst among the teams to advance. Gave up 44 earned runs in Oxford, but they got the big outs when it mattered most. That's what Dylan Zenko is trying to dig down and get here. Looking for the 3rd out. And this might be it. Going to be a tough play. Mistoni, the first baseman, near the bullpen, made the catch with his back to the infield. Luke Mistoni with a nice play to Veerling down the line and foul. Barely.
That's just what you do when you take the job of ace. You have to eat up some innings. You have to save the bullpen, and you got to fight. And every inning is a fight.
Yeah, there were a couple of times in the 3rd inning and the 4th inning where it looked like Prooks was maybe teetering on the brink of losing his stuff, losing his command, but he has battled. And here he is pitching into the 6th. One ball and 1 strike to Will Veerling. He'll be followed by Dan Tocken and Nico Bermeo. 6, 7, and 8 for Murray State. And they appeal to the 3rd base umpire, Travis Eggert. He says he did not go. Murray State out hitting Duke 6-3. That's a foul tip.
The last time he faced Veerling, a lot of sliders, got ahead, swing and misses on the sliders, and then he tried to sneak a fastball up out of the zone, and Veerling was right on time. And so now you're seeing the results of that going, all right, I saw what you did on my fastball, even though it was like a predictable slider count. I'm not throwing you another one of those. Brooks getting close to his career high in pitches, which is 111.
Called strike 3 on the outside corner. Froze Veerling. Strikeout number 7 for Owen.
Now that location is absolutely flawless. So many sliders that the fastball is going to be enough to get by you. Just paints the outside corner.
Murray State has had traffic every inning against Brooks except the first. And 6 hits. Again, out hitting Duke, but all of the hits singles. No extra base hits. And so he's been able to work around trouble. There's Dan Tocken, who has an RBI sac fly. Good breaking ball. 1-1.
Yeah, I mean, this team's a doubles team. They're not a power. They're 84th in the country with 71 home runs. So it's not wait for the 3-run home run type of offense. It's scatter the singles, doubles, timely hitting.
Shift is on. And Tocken wraps right into it. 2 away. Tickets went fast, and it's a sellout crowd here at this great old ballpark. Jack Coombs Field opened in 1931. First time the stadium is hosting postseason baseball at Duke. He's Greg Olson. I'm Clay Matvick. Just a terrific day. And fans enjoying it as Nico Bermeo comes up with 2 outs for Murray State. Trying to find some shade about now. It's that time of day where the heat can kind of beat on you a little.
Yeah, sunscreen's probably a necessity when you're sitting out there, but that'd be where I'd be at. I'd be just out someplace under the trees.
We could work that out, I suppose. Yeah. Bermeo is 0 for 2. Murray State DH flew out to right and struck out.
This is how you conserve your pitches. So I talked about he is now at his career high in pitches. The throwing of the breaking balls on a consistent basis saves the arm a little bit more than it does a fastball. Fastball is more taxing than throwing breaking balls. So this 111 probably doesn't feel like 111 to him. He's thrown so many sliders. Rears back on that one, but it saves on the arm. It's not as intensive. You're able to take a little bit off to create the spin, so that 112 probably doesn't feel quite that much.
Got to wonder that it might be possible he comes out for the 7th if this is a quick 6th inning.
I think it might be a conversation. And I think it'll be more, hey, I think you're done, and then see how much he fights back.
Again, the 3-2 breaking ball foul.
That would be what I would do. If I'm Chris Pollard, I'm going, all right, you know what? You're way over your limited pitches. You know, you've done a great job. You got us here, and hand it off to a great bullpen. And then if Brooks really fights back, yeah, okay, I'll give you one guy.
Again, the payoff pitch. Oh, that's still high. Trying to snap the breaking ball. That was an 8-pitch at bat for Bermeo. Coaxes a walk with 2 outs. And now we'll keep an eye on that Duke dugout. Brady Kirkpatrick generally makes the pitching changes. You can see the walkie-talkie is being utilized now.
Making sure that guy in the bullpen is good to go. Get a little bit of a stall right now as Winslow walks out.
Mark Hindy has been up since the 4th inning from time to time and has been ready. Owen Brooks had that fabulous outing in the win over Oklahoma State in the regional opener. Put Duke on a path to the win in Athens. And now it appears that he is at the end of his outing here in this super regional. But what an outing it's been. Pitching into the 6th inning.
This might be the longest catcher's visit that I have ever seen in my life. And all they're doing is trying to get Mark Hindy a little bit more time to warm up. But as you said, he's been throwing for 2 innings.
And here comes Kirkpatrick. That's going to do it. Big smile from Owen Brooks as the Duke fans come to their feet. The junior from South Lake, Texas, in line for his 4th win of the year and one of the biggest ones of his life. as this Duke program is trying to do something they haven't done since the early 60s, and that's get to Omaha.
Just a great job, and as I said, battled traffic, was able to navigate 6 hits, a couple of walks, and finally that pitch count number got to be the point where it's like that walk was just telling enough.
Mark Hindy is on. Brooks is out, and he gets a big ovation here in Durham.
Cape really limited in the fall, early spring. But as of late, man, he has come on and been just a huge cog in this bullpen.
Connor Cunningham has to face him first. He's 0 for 1. Was hit by pitches last time. Bermeo is at first after walking. And a ground ball. Should end the inning. Nice hop into the glove of Jake Hyde. He steps on the bag, and that's how you do it. Mark Hindy comes out of the bullpen and shuts the door. You think about doing that.
Just, you know, old school. We're in an old ballpark, old school. You might as well have the pitcher hit.
Macon Winslow leads it off here for Duke. Grounded into a double play, walked and scored a run in the 4th. Duke, one of the 5 ACC teams in the Super Regional round. Best of 3 series. As this one is lofted in foul ground. Long run for Mistoni, the first baseman. And Mercer from right is going to get out of play. And the ACC has done well advancing to the Super Regional round. 5 teams. That's the most of any conference. And North Carolina hammered Arizona yesterday. Louisville, that series with Miami is going to go to 3 games. So we know that the ACC is going to have 1 team at least in Omaha.
North Carolina got it done all year. Florida State got it done all year. Duke got off to a slow start. Louisville got off to a slow start.
North Carolina and Arizona tied at 8 in the 7th now. Pulled foul. Arizona up 10 to 8 now. Top of the 8th.
Zenko is now experiencing the Duke offense. The frustration of making good pitch after good pitch to get fouled off into the stands over and over again.
There are some Arizona fans. Those are Diamondbacks fans.
It looks like my jersey from like '98.
I think yours probably fit that well too. It looks a little small. So you went with the medium.
So you really want to wear this shirt today?
I don't know. It's just it's the style of it's the throwback style. It looks smaller. I think that's what it is. He fills it out fine. 2-2. Outside. 3-2. Duke looking to add to the lead here in the 6th inning against reliever Dylan Zenko. Outside. And so Dylan Zenko walks the leadoff man in the 6th. That is the 3rd inning today that Shuddy and Zenko have walked the leadoff man.
That is what Duke does, man. That was a great at bat, spoiled some good pitches, find a way, you make a mistake, and here you go, another walk.
Duke leading the country, 6.6 walks per game. And they have 6 today. Foul back off the bat of Berger, Jake Berger. He has walked twice in this one.
I mean, 6.6 walks a game is insane. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it as a pitching staff. You know, you're making good pitches. It is just finally you make a mistake and you throw a couple balls, or you nibble a little bit too much and you end up getting behind in the count to this really solid offense. But it's not like you can sit there and preach before the game. Okay, we can't walk them.
Called strike on the outside corner to Berger. Jake Berger, his batting average doesn't really reflect how tough of an out he is here at the bottom or near the bottom of the order. He's usually in the 9 hole, but because of Gracia being out, he has slid up with everybody else. So he's batting in the 8 spot. You know, the 2 walks attest to his discerning eye. Seven homers, 44 runs batted in. Nobody out. 1-2. And this is lashed down the line, foul. Now he sees it really well at the plate.
Yeah, he gets that strike zone into a real small zone that he wants to hit in. And his 2 walks have ended up coming around to score, which is just perfect scenario for this Duke offense.
And another one, twisting foul.
I mean, Clay, the old pitcher in me is getting annoyed. I mean, all these foul balls, all these good pitches, and these guys are just flicking them into the stands, and it's like next pitch, next man up, and you're going, I'm getting annoyed as an old pitcher.
Yeah,
it's like going,
just spoiling too many good
put
ones.
it in play. Just do something with it.
It's frustrating, and that's what Duke does. Upstairs, and out 2-2.
And they don't chase. I mean, it's one thing, okay, to spoil good pitches. It's another thing that they're not going to leave the zone. You can't get them to leave the zone and hit something on your terms.
Reese Oakley, freshman right-hander. He's come to the bullpen now. Swung out and missed. Snap throw down to first. And safe there, but a strikeout of Jake Berger. It was a long at bat. It's back-to-back 8-pitch at bats. Walk and a strikeout, 1 down.
Ends up just being a fastball right down the middle that he swings through. He fouled off a lot better pitches than that one, but great at bat. Made Zinko really work to get that one out.
And here's Kyle Johnson. He's been a wrecking ball. With this Duke offense, a home run and a double. 4 runs batted in. Hitting today because of A.J. Gracia's absence, that 1-game suspension. Very controversial. Duke fans, Duke players, Chris Pollard still not over it. And this is hit again. Smoke to center. Has a chance. And it is off the wall. Rounding third, trying to score as Winslow, and he will easily without a throw. Kyle Johnson, mercy. 6-2 Duke.
Well, I think that Murray State has learned that we cannot throw a fastball outer part of the plate to this young man. This ball is crushed to center field. He wants to get his arms extended. Thinks he got it, and then he's like, thought a little bit, this one's going to be close. I better run it out. This is what I love about postseason, Clay. It's like somebody steps up that you don't expect in the biggest moment. And right now for Duke, it has been Kyle Johnson.
Well, and when Chris Pollard told you and I during his interview a few innings ago that he's the best two-way player in the country, it's really not hyperbole. You can see why he says that. I mean, there's so much talent there. Freshman All-American last year. Kyle Johnson had 3 doubles all year. He has 2 today, plus the home run. And he has driven in 5 of Duke's 6.
I think they just ran him out a drink of water.
I don't know if that's going to cool his bat off, though.
I don't think I've ever seen that before. You know what? You just ran all the way to second base, 180 feet. We'll bring you some water. Just stay right there.
Back to the top of the order in Wallace Clark. Jumps on the first pitch and hit foul. Clark is 0 for 2. He has one of the 6 walks for the Duke offense today. Senko's throw low. Kept on the infield by Decker.
Wallace Clark more than happy to see Nick Shuddy leave the game. He was 0 for 2, struck out in the first, pop up. And he hits left-handed pitching at a .424 clip over the season. So he is loving this matchup.
Turns away from that one, 1-1. 4 of the 6 Duke runs have come because of the walk. 4 of the 6 walks have scored.
And that was Murray State's talking point about Shuddy, is the self-inflicted wounds. Can he avoid the walk and the hit by pitches? And he just could not. And it's just a tough matchup with Duke. This is what they do.
Now you see Dan Skirka on the walkie-talkie.
Murray State really likes to do what MLB does, which is the matchups, you know, coming out of the bullpen, what guys' strengths versus what the hitters are trying to do. So I'm a little surprised Zenko is facing Wallace Clark right here in this spot.
2-2 fastball fouled off.
But you have a left-handed hitting Rounds coming up next. So thinking Zenko is going to stay in through that, and then you bring the righty in to face Miller and the left-handed Hyde.
Murray State looking for a big out here. Get a pop-up into foul ground again. This could be another tough play. Mastoni giving it a chase. Diving out is Dustin Mercer and makes the catch in the bullpen. What a beautiful play by Dustin Mercer. It shook him up, but it's the second out of the inning.
What an unbelievable effort by Mercer. I am telling you that the older stadiums that have these mounds in play, it is a piece of the game. It is an obstacle. He lays out, catches a little bit of the side of the mound, but this is one of the best catches I've ever seen.
He caught Mastoni too, and that could have been bad. Boy, it's amazing neither one of those guys were seriously hurt. And getting over to third on the play, Kyle Johnson. So 2 outs now, and here's Ben Rounds. And first pitch way outside. Zenko gave up the double to Albright in the 5th inning, but otherwise a pretty quiet first inning. This inning's been challenging. Walked the leadoff man. And Johnson's double and trying to get out of the 6th without any more damage done. Look at the fans back there just tearing into
Mercer's
Dustin
laughing.
Mercer, yeah.
I mean, it's part of the game. It's just I don't expect a 12-year-old girl to be ragging on me though. But
now we might be wrong. She could be saying, "Hey, great job out there. That was a great catch," even if it was against my team.
I would be, yeah. I mean, if you're gonna heckle, and it's fine. It's all part of the game. But you got to at least go, man. That was really a legit catch. Nice job.
2-1 inside, 3-1 to Ben Rounds. Ben Rounds, excellent pick out of the portal for Duke. Hit .403 last year for the Harvard Crimson. Duke tried to recruit him out of high school, but didn't work out. Finally, Chris Pollard able to land it. 3-1 pitch. And this one's laced into right field. That is going to get up against the fence. Johnson comes in, and sliding into second with an RBI double has been Rounds. 7-2 Blue Devils.
Breaking ball elevated, and Rounds stays through the zone. Flat swing, staying in the zone a long time. Gets a breaking ball, is a couple spins short. Just hammers it to right field.
So Dylan Zenko, that might be it. Yeah, here comes the head coach, Dan Skirka, making his way to the mound. And, you know, we saw Nick Schutte struggle with walks, especially to the leadoff man a couple of times. So now Dylan Zenko got off to a bad start here in the 6th. Walks making Winslow, and it's kind of been bumpy ever since.
Yeah, I mean, leadoff walks are just lethal to an ERA. And we've seen a couple of them here, and almost every walk seems like they come around to score.
The Duke offense, 6 walks, 5 extra base hits. They have seen a ton of pitches, and that's going to be it for Zenko. Took a long time to make the call to the bullpen, but they're going to do it. So a pitching change here in Durham. Duke has scored 2 more here in the 6th, and they're not done. Back in a moment.
Damn.
And Ben Miller hits it to third. There's Garner, his throw on time for the out. 1 pitch for Reese Oakley, and Murray State gets off the field. But 2 more runs on the board for the Blue Devils. We head to the 7th, 7-2.
Well, I struck out 3 times. So I'm perfect for today's baseball game of home run or strikeout.
Not a bad slugging percentage. Jonathan Hogard to lead it off here for Murray State. They've got some work to do. Down 7-2. The Racers had a couple of runs in the 2nd and the 3rd, respectively, but nothing since. Jumped out to that 2-0 lead. But Duke got 2 back on the 2-run homer by Kyle Johnson, and it's been Duke's momentum ever since.
It's been the Kyle Johnson show in the 9 spot. 5 RBIs, 2 doubles, a home run.
Hogard is 1 for 3. It's inside. There's Kyle Johnson. Where will he be playing tomorrow? We expect on the mound.
He had been in the bullpen for the most part this season. Got his velocity back up, had a little bit of a dead shoulder. And that is the last thing that Chris Pollard wants to see right there.
Mark Indy gives up a leadoff walk in the 7th to Jonathan Hogard.
Back to Kyle Johnson. Had a little bit of a dead shoulder early. took him out of the rotation, moved him to the pen, you know, tried to give him the more of the it's a sprint, not a marathon mindset, and that's really worked out for him. He was on the Athens all-regional team last week with a great start. 6 innings, 3 runs.
He has been a show today at the plate. Dustin Mercer pops this one into foul ground, giving chase is Ben Miller, and won't have a play.
Wow, he ran into the wall hard.
And he's got to protect that hand. And, you know, showing some chest hair.
Well, he just lost a couple buttons when he ran into the fence.
Is that what it was?
Man, I didn't think he had a chance of catching it. I thought it was like 15 yards in foul territory, and he still slammed into the wall. He's probably a little angry about that ground ball to third on the first pitch last inning.
All effort, all the time for Ben Miller. Mark Hindy, his lone appearance in the regional was against Georgia on the 31st of May. He did fine. An inning and a third. Gave up a couple of hits, but no runs, and that's been his story as of late. That one's a big miss, 2-2, but he has not allowed a run in his last 9 innings pitched prior to this appearance. So this is the kind of guy that you want in a ball game like this to protect a lead, a comfortable lead now. Foul back.
Coach Pollard said that he will roll with him. They got Talon behind him in the bullpen, but if Hindy's rolling like he has been, they will just let him run this thing out.
They've got Talon. They've got Reed Easterly, of course, at the back end. The Yale transfer has been really good as the closer. Just missed. I don't think this crowd is like Brian Miller's strike zone much of the game.
No, but I mean, like I said, I'm watching the catcher, and the catcher's not doing anything. They're not looking in the dugout.
No, I think his strike zone's been fine. I just don't think the crowd likes it very much.
Well, I think the crowd, if you threw the ball in the air to home plate, the crowd would probably think it was a strike, and the umpire missed the call.
Yeah, Macon Winslow's done a nice job receiving today for Duke. Runner goes, foul back.
Trying to create a little bit of movement, get something started. This offense has been stagnant since the third.
There's Reed Easterly. He has been throwing. Not throwing currently. 10th pitch of the at-bat, sprayed into left field. Giving chase his rounds, he'll cut it off and keep it from the corner and keep Hogart at second base. So here comes Murray State. Couple of runners on, nobody out in the 7th.
I'm probably going to be saying this a lot. Great at bat. Finally gets something good to hit. Breaking ball a little bit elevated, and he just carves it to left field. I feel like I've said that, what, 25 times today? This is just a great at bat.
For both sides.
Yeah.
And now Carson Garner. Carson Garner, a couple of strikeouts, also a walk today. His biggest contribution this season for Murray State might be his defense. As he's behind in the count, 0-2. Had 16 errors last year. That was the most in the Missouri Valley. This year at third base has really cleaned it up and made the all-defensive team in the conference. Now Murray's looking for his offense. Down and in, 1-2. Murray State could use an extra base hit. No extra base hits today. 7 hits, all singles. It's upstairs, 2-2. And they've been spread out. They haven't come in bunches for the Racers.
Yeah, they had a little bit of they got a couple of them together in the second and the third, but that was about it. Big 3-2 pitch coming right here.
3 balls, 2 strikes to Carson Garner, the Murray State third baseman. Racers in their first Super Regional, trying to find a spark. Mark Hindy, long set, and walked him. Bases loaded. And now here comes Dom Decker, who has had a 3-for-3 day, including a run batted in.
Just solid swing, single up the middle, both on sliders from Crooks. And gets something a little bit different, decides to hook one down the right field line, another long single.
And it doesn't look like Hindy is going to face Decker. As Brady Kirkpatrick comes out, Reed Easterly, closer, couple of shutout innings in the regional final against Oklahoma State, and he is going to get the call. Out today, 3-for-3, bases loaded. 7-2 Duke. First swing is a check, and it's a called strike.
Right now, if you're Easterly, you're trying to limit the damage. You're trying to keep that guy at second base from scoring. That is your job. That guy at third base is going to score. You just assume it.
2 strikes. Hogard at third. Mercer is at second base for Murray State, and Garner at first. Couple of walks in the inning. And this is lined but foul. Wow. Timed that pretty well.
Well, all three of Decker's hits are on the left-handed slider. So he's seen it. I mean, I'm getting back to the fastball. I'd try to get him to leave the zone, throw a good four-seam fastball off the plate away, and see what his take is.
Big difference between left-handed and right-handed pitching for Decker. And he's done fine against the lefties today. This Duke crowd a little nervous now as Murray State has made it interesting. Now time called. Dan Skirka coming out.
I think Decker has a hamstring. He might be cramping up.
Yeah, it looks like it.
He went and grabbed it right away after that swing. It is hot. They're on turf. Right here, he's like, ooh.
Dom Decker has reached in 39 straight games after the leadoff hit in the second inning. Went 3 for 5 in the regional final last week. I mean, he's a big part of this team. JUCO transfer from Wallace State in Alabama. They're giving him some water. Hydration's been a key today, no doubt. And he's going to try and stay in this ball game in a big spot here.
Yeah, I'm sure that hamstring just kind of grabbed on him and a little bit of a cramp. I'm not sure a little bit of glass of water is going to help right now, but be something to keep an eye on if he gets on base.
3 on, nobody out. Easterly's pitch, breaking ball, and again fouled off. Murray State looking for its first run since the third inning. They got 1 in the second, 1 in the third against Owen Prooks. I wish we had a number on the number of foul balls we've seen today.
I would love to know how many balls have.
A lot of pitches spoiled. The 0-2 and another one.
Yeah, right here. All right, I've thrown you too many strikes right now. I'm going to change your eye level. I'm going to do something different. Throw a ball, have my catcher sit up 1.5 feet outside and just throw a really good fastball just to try to reset everything, then get back to that slider.
Well, he changed it a little bit in the turf, knocked down by Winslow. He's had to do that a few times. He had to do that a lot when Brooks was in.
Yeah, another nice block. Was able to keep that one close enough that nobody could advance. That one kind of rolled up the arm a little bit, but got his body out front of it. You see why they love him here at Duke, man. Just a solid catch and throw guy.
Pitch number 8 is lands into left field for a base hit. Dom Decker has done it again. A 4-hit day. They're going to get one as Hogarth scores. Man, Dom Decker, whether he's cramping or not, he can swing it.
Just a long at bat, finally gets a fastball up, and he's able to stay inside of it and carve it into left center. I mean, you're seeing that many pitches. The pitcher's going to make a mistake, and Decker has just stayed up there and fight. I'll fight off your best pitches, and then you make a mistake, I got you.
And now Miss Stoney will try to extend this rally for Murray State. 1 for 3. That single coming back in the second inning. And he hits it well to right center. And Johnson's going to run over and make the catch in the alley. Tagging and scoring is Mercer. And it's now 7-4. But that was hit well by Mastoni. As Murray State is still looking to find a gap. They don't have an extra base hit. That's about as close as they've come.
That ball looked like it was on its way into the gap. Kyle Johnson runs it down. Good swing by Mastoni. Johnson runs it down, comes up a little bit lame right here after that. Looked like he rolled his ankle on the spin and throw.
So Easterly has his first out. And now this one is hit to center. Is it going to stay up for Johnson? Yes. Kyle Johnson makes another running catch. Man, is that guy doing everything today or what?
This is just a great effort, great read. Toughest ball is the line drive right at you in the outfield, and he gets a great jump, picks it up, and he is right where he is supposed to be. Great route and great jump on that. But he came up limping again a little bit.
So Will Vierling is retired on one pitch, and now Talkin gets behind in the count.
And something to think about, Clay. It looks like he's limping on that left ankle, which is going to be his foot on the rubber tomorrow if he's pitching.
Chop foul. Talkin an RBI sac fly. Johnson's going to need some more water, I think.
All right, if they run one out to center field for him, then I will officially have seen everything I need to see today.
That might be beyond the pale. I don't think they're going to do that. Here come the Duke fans. Swung out and missed, got Talkin for the third out. So Easterly comes in. More here in the 7th. Jake Hyde, Tyler Albright, and Sam Harris. A couple of runs for Murray State in the top of the inning. You know, tighten things up around here in game 1 of this Super Regional.
I love the answer by Murray State. 3 spot in the bottom of the 6th. Murray State comes back and answers with 2 to get back into this game.
Jake Hyde is 0 for 2 with a walk.
Now it's Murray State's turn to need a shutdown inning.
Jake Hyde, the big first baseman, 6'4", 205 pounds, has 65 runs batted in. You know, all of the offense has come from the bottom part of this Duke order today. It's 1 through 4, 1 through 5 that have been pretty pedestrian. Reese Oakley came on in relief, got the last out of the 6th inning. Gets a strike here, 2-2.
Nice change up, bottom of the zone.
Oakley making his 13th relief appearance. Pitched in a couple of games in Oxford last weekend. Came in and got an out against Georgia Tech, got one out against Ole Miss, and gave up 6 runs on 3 homers. So he's trying to put that in the rearview mirror. But that's a leadoff walk here in the 7th, and that has been an Achilles heel for the Murray State pitching staff today. Walking the leadoff guy.
4th inning that Murray State has started off the Duke offense with a leadoff walk. 4 out of 7.
It's not what Dan Skirka can afford to see happen here, especially after you clawed 2 runs back.
Yeah, no, this game has its ups and downs, the momentum swings, and then you just feel like you got a little bit of momentum in that dugout, and then leadoff walk just bleeds the energy out.
Tyler Albright showing bunt there, and then the snap throw from Vierling. Hyde was able to get back. Albright 1 for 2. Hit by a pitch, stole a base in the 2nd inning. Fielder's choice and a run scored in the 4th, and then a double his last time up.
Albright's got 1 sack bunt on the year. And as I said earlier, Duke only has 14, so this is not part of their game. Gave it a look for 1 take, and then that was it. Let's put the swing back on.
Breaking ball from Oakley, and that was pretty. Bends in there for strike 3 as he makes quick work of Albright. 1 down.
Albright gets locked up on this curveball. Nice rotation, nice spin to it. Catches the top part of the zone. I mean, that's almost unhittable with the break, and it's coming in that late and that high. It's just so hard for a hitter to get on top of that and do anything with it.
Hyde at first, and a swing and a miss by Sam Harris. The DH has been on once today for Duke, hit by a pitch. Harris had a big 2-run RBI in the 8th against Oklahoma State, 114 miles per hour off the bat. Duke could use that here, as they're looking for insurance now against this scrappy Murray State team. But a little weak pop-up on the left side, and Harris is easily retired.
Well, that's what that breaking ball does. So he throws first pitch breaking ball, gets a swing, and now out of that same slot that the breaking ball comes, this fastball right in on the hands. And it's check swing, a little excuse me, gets the bat started. I was looking to see if Garner was going to drop that pop-up and see if he could get a double play, but out of the box, Harris was sprinting out of the box, and Albright didn't move off of first.
So 2 outs. Reese Oakley trying to work around the leadoff walk to Hyde. And Macon Winslow, who's walked twice and scored twice, at the plate. I mean, that's been the killer for Murray State today. The 7 walks allowed. And 5 of those guys have scored.
Yeah, that's been the difference in the game, and that was the talking point for Coach Skirka, was we got to be in the zone. We can't give them free passes. They're too good.
They appeal, and that was a strike at home plate, so 0-2 on Winslow. (7-4) Duke leading. Ground ball should end the inning, and Murray State will get back to the dugout as Winslow wraps into the fielder's choice. We head to the 8th. Duke 2 wins away from Omaha. Murray State 2 wins away from Omaha. A lot of baseball left. Dynamite behind the plate defensively for Duke today. One down.
I'll tell you what, I cannot tell you how good this play is.
Cunningham 0 for 2 with a hit by pitch back in the 4th inning. Reed Easterly coming on in the 7th inning, when the score was 7-2. Not a prototypical situation for a closer, but that's the situation that Chris Pollard put him in, and asking him to get the last 9 outs. He has 3 in his back pocket, make it 4 now with the Bermeo out. So he's done so far what Pollard has asked from him.
Yeah, I mean, you come in bases loaded, nobody out. I'm giving up 1 run guaranteed. But this is the life of a college closer. Extended innings. You got to do whatever it takes to get your team the W, and it means 9 outs for Easterly. Wipeout slider, just tough on left-handed hitters, and Cunningham cannot lay off of it.
And now Hogart, Jonathan Hogart has been on twice, a single and a walk. 19 homers, 62 runs batted in, but Murray State will take him on any way they can get him on. Even though they have out-hit Duke, they have 8 hits to Duke's 5. Nothing in the way of extra bases. And lined into the glove of Ben Miller. Gets on a step stool to snag. Leads off the 8th inning for Duke. Now 3 outs away from a Game 1 Super Regional win. There's Kyle Johnson. 3 for 3 with a homer and a couple of doubles, 5 ribbies. The rest of the team, not so much. Is that an alarming statistic right there if you're Chris Pollard?
No, I don't think it is. I mean, I'm happy that Kyle Johnson's able to come in and do what he done today. You know, the rest of the team, they put together good at bats. It hasn't been a.
No,
I would be
right.
concerned if it was 2 for 22 with 14 strikeouts. Then I'd have some concern. But they're finding their way on, 7 walks. They're getting on base. They're doing what they're doing. Just nothing else is falling right now.
Reese Oakley. His pitch is whack foul. It's 1-2 here to Berger, the leadoff man. So Chris Pollard, we talked to him earlier and he said the best 2-way player in the country. And there are going to be arguments to that fact, but today what he has done, and we expect that he'll probably start tomorrow. He's showing that here in the Super Region.
Well, he got off to a real slow start, and they really worked on his mechanics. He spent a lot of time doing it. And when you're changing things up, so he was, he was changing his posture, he was changing his swing. And so there was a lot of work to do, and Coach Pollard said it. He goes, man, we really feel like his batting practice in the simulated games over the last 2 weeks, he is coming on and getting back to his form from last year. And I think we've seen that today.
Base is empty. 2-2 count on Jake Berger, the Duke second baseman. Breaking ball right into the glove of Mistoni at first. A lot of lineouts too today for Duke. Some atom balls that don't show up in the box score. And now here comes Kyle Johnson. Let's see what he can do to cap the day. Maybe cap the day. We'll see. Crowd very appreciative.
Big first out to keep somebody off base, so you don't have to go and throw at him. You can nibble a little bit.
That's a strike.
I'm not throwing him a fastball outside part of the plate. All that damage has been on fastballs away from him. He's gotten his arms extended.
His average is up 44 points because of today's game. I'm going to say he went. So 0-2. Look at this. Did he go? Oh, yeah.
That's, that's one of those, you either call that a strike and the hands go too far, or you don't. And it's umpire's call. It's subjective. I'm an old pitcher, so I think every time they move the bat, they go.
I think if you would base it on the crowd's reaction today, Brian Miller gets an F. But, you know, based on what we've seen on these replays, I think it's an A.
Yeah.
He's done a really nice job behind home plate. One, two. Kyle Johnson, sophomore from Leesburg, Virginia. 6'1", 205 pounds. Got the win on the mound against Georgia in Athens last week. And has been ferocious here at the plate today. It's in the turf. All turf infield, all turf outfield. This is brand new turf. A turf mound, I mean, you're old school. I wonder how you would have liked pitching on a turf mound.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously you're not going to slip much when it gets wet, you know, like you will on a clay mound, but
2-2, another base hit over Cunningham. 4 for 4 day for Kyle Johnson. Now, he wasn't very sharp coming out of the batter's box. That's something to keep an eye on again, as he seemed to tweak something earlier in the game. Yeah, and it's still bothering him.
Struggling on that ankle. Looked like he rolled it a little bit on that throw in. He cut something off in the gap. It's something to keep an eye on. I initially thought it was left foot. And that one, it looked like it was right foot. What a nice piece of hitting. Good curveball. Stays with it.
And now Wallace Clark tried to hold up and did not do it. Strike one to Wallace Clark, senior captain. Was amazing last weekend in Athens. Most outstanding player. Trying to make Omaha with a second program. Did it with the Sooners a few years back. Made it to the national title game.
It's funny when you say, you know, he's the only guy on the roster that has been to Omaha.
Yeah.
But in today's world now with the transfer portal, it's like you're getting regular guys coming in and out and grad transfers. You know, it's not that unusual to say that, where just initially it sounds like, well, yeah, okay, you got one guy. You should have more than one guy.
The landscape of college baseball has certainly changed. And it's still an adaptation process. Wallace Clark was born in London. Played for the British national team in 2024 during the World Cup. He was a well-traveled young man. It can't be easy now for Johnson over there, who's obviously a little tender, having to jump back and forth from his lead back to the bag. You wouldn't think he'd be a threat to run right now.
I wouldn't think he'd be a threat to run, but, you know, there is a little bit of old school World Wrestling Federation in baseball where it's like, okay, I see you limping. I'm going to
mess with you a little.
I'm going to mess with you a little bit. Throw over a couple times. Find a weakness, and you go after it.
2-1 inside from Oakley. Oakley, the third pitcher today for Murray State. Nick Schutte, junior right-hander, labored through 4 innings. Dylan Zenko came on in middle relief. And now Reese Oakley came on with 2 outs in the 6th. And another walk. 2 on, 1 out. 8 walks today for this Duke offense. 400 even on the season. And Matt Parento, with those high socks, is loosening up in the Racers bullpen.
Let's see if they make a move right here. Pitching coach walking out.
This is Steve Adkins. The likely starter for tomorrow for Murray State, senior right-hander Isaac Silva. Made a couple of starts in Oxford. And he's thrown a bunch of pitches too recently. 160 pitches total last weekend. So much like Nick Schutte, I mean, they rode him hard. And we kind of thought that this weekend would come down to the bullpen for Murray State. And today they've had to use their bullpen twice already, and maybe a third time. That's just a visit, not making a change.
Yep. Now we're having Chris Pollard's having an offensive meeting. Checking on Kyle Johnson, to be honest with you.
There's Derek Simmons, the third base coach of the Sunglasses. Eric Tyler is the first base coach. They're trying to make sure they don't do any more damage so he can start tomorrow. What do you think?
I think this is exactly what you just said. I think they're looking ahead to tomorrow. He's been on that foot a lot. The limp is getting a little bit worse. Let's get him off the field, get him inside, get some ice on it. He's done his job today. It's just time to get off of that foot.
So Zach Jackson comes in as a pinch runner out at second base. Zach Jackson may be the fastest guy on this Duke roster, so good speed out there. And Wallace Clark is at first. Rounds had a RBI double his last time to the plate. Looking ahead to the Murray State ninth inning. 2, 3, and 4 due up. Mercer, Garner, and Decker. That's down, 2-1.
I know that Dan Skirker would love for Reese Oakley to finish this inning so he doesn't have to use another arm in what, is a good bullpen, but it's not as deep. So love to see Oakley try to get out of this inning without any damage so he doesn't have to use another reliever.
Gets a chopper. That's going to be an out at first. So Rounds is retired. Clark to second. And Jackson to third on the play. And here comes Ben Miller. 0 for 4 today, but he's hit some balls hard.
He's had a couple of loud outs. Line drive to shortstop, line out to center field.
Mustache still looking good here in the late innings. First team All ACC the last 2 years. Grew up in Durham. Duke didn't have a spot for him in high school, but after starting his career at Penn, and you and I saw him in a regional at Auburn a couple of years ago, finally gets to play for his hometown team, and what an inspiration he's been for this club the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, was a captain at Penn, and then got voted on by his teammates here at Duke to be one of their captains this year.
The 0-2. Count now on Miller.
Well, he did not get cheated on that cut. Nice little cut fastball down and away.
Seven 4 Duke, 2 on, 2 out here in the 8th. Struck him out. So Oakley gets out of the inning without any runs scoring. And it's Murray State coming up in the 9th. Last chance for the Racers. Duke 3 out away from a Game 1 Super Regional win. You always hear about the Duke men's basketball team. The women's basketball program also very good. Football has been on the rise in recent years. First under Coach David Cutcliffe. Now Manny Diaz coming off a 9-win season. But how about baseball under Chris Pollard? People are taking notice around the country about Blue Devils baseball.
Yeah, no, I mean, they've been rock solid and one of the teams to beat in the ACC over the last 8 years, and it coincides, coincidentally, with Chris Pollard coming in. He is one of the most under-talked about head coaches in college baseball.
So Zach Jackson stays in the game in center field for Kyle Johnson, who has left the dugout, we understand. As Dustin Mercer leads it off, he'll be followed by Garner and Decker. Those are the scheduled hitters here for Murray State. They need 3 to tie.
I got to believe he's sitting on a training table right now with his leg up and wrapped in a couple bags of ice. and watching you on TV.
And you. Dustin Mercer, a single and a run scored in that 2-run seventh. There is Kyle Johnson. There he is. And again, we noticed he was tender, walking and running. And we have not heard about an official starter for tomorrow, but he has been the Game 2 starter in recent weeks, and he's a likely candidate. Boy, that is smashed into center. Line drive, base hit, Dustin Mercer. His second hit. And keep in mind, Dom Decker is on deck now as Garner comes to the plate, and he has a 4-for-4 day. So this is the part of the order that if Dan Skirka was going to blueprint a comeback, he'd want to start right here in this part of the order.
And that was exactly it. Mercer, just a slider, smashes it back up the box.
There's Decker. That first pitch to Garner's outside. Reed Easterly trying to lock this one away. Came on in the 7th inning when the game was 7-2. Strike. The runs that scored against Easterly were not his. They were Mark Hindy's runs, so he has not given up a run yet in 2 innings. Ground ball. We'll see if this is a double play. Miller to Berger. Double play. How about Ben Miller with that sore hand starting a 5-4-3 double play?
Yeah, I was anxious to see how this throw was. Slider down in the zone, ground ball, 5-4-3. And I was watching anxiously on that throw. It sailed on him a little bit. But really nice turn by Berger at second base.
Yeah, he adjusted in midair. And now Murray stayed down to its last out, but it's a tough out in Decker. And that is caught by Miller. Diving play to end the game. And Duke is 1 win away from the Men's College World Series.